Alrighty, we back. I finally got another from scratch video idea, so that is nice, yeah. Finally the video idea that I actually intended to make on this channel, and I got another one out. How, impressive, right? Um, yeah, anyway. This song didn't take me too long to make, honestly. The ideas kind of flowed out really nicely, and I just had this constant stream of, like, inspiration and, yeah, just things I enjoyed, so, yeah. Um, we'll probably be able to get through this video fairly quickly. All it is, yeah, I just found a nice like saxophone sample online and just kind of built around it, making a sad, sexy, saxy chill vibe. So yeah, that's honestly about it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in there, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so yeah, we start where all great stories start in a small, cozy town called Sampleville. I don't have any access to any actual saxophone VSTs, nor do I really expect any free ones to sound good. So, yeah, but I really had the itch to like use a saxophone for a bit. I ended up starting another saxophone song too, or like song with the sax lead. Kind of inspired by a soundtrack of a game, which I might make a video about later. But yeah, here is the sample that I grabbed. So yeah, that's the sample that we got, and that got me going, if you get what I mean. Yeah. Next up, I added some strings. I added a bass and a cello to kind of accompany the sax. I think once I get more comfortable with having like better expression on my cellos and nicer progressions and stuff like that, if I can find like a nice, either just good sax samples or like an actual saxophone VST that's high quality and that I like, I think cello and sax will be one of, if not my favorite combination of instruments. This song, in my opinion, doesn't even scratch the surface of how gorgeous it can be. But hopefully at some point I can get to that level, and it's just yeah, because I really want to be able to express how nice it is. But yeah, so I threw down some basic chords on a cello and a bass, and yeah, here they are. Next up was just adding a little expression on the strings, and I also changed up the sounds. So I usually just use or well, just like an ensemble. Oh my god, my voice. Sorry. Yeah, anyway. I just use a ensemble usually. And I'll like split it up into this two plugins of the same ensemble so that I can have separate expression. But I wanted to actually change up and use different sounds for once, so I just used a different double bass. But yeah, so we added some expression, and then I changed up the chords a little bit just to give it a little more life and a little more like movement, I guess. So yeah, here that is. That is English. Here that is. So I forgot to mention, my bad. Earlier on the saxophone, I also added a EQ where I just cut out the bass frequencies around like 100, I think. Um, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if it was that necessary because there wasn't that much playing below the 100 hertz. I just wanted to be safe to make it a little less muddy with the bass and cello, but I don't know if in the end it just kind of ended up taking away from the kind of fullness. But regardless, that is what I did. So yeah. Next up, I was kind of okay. So I wanted to have a piano. I wasn't sure how I wanted to actually implement it because, as I mentioned in one of my videos, my first or my second one, I don't remember which one. Um, it's really hard to like master and mix a piano with an entire like orchestra. To be fair, This time there's not many. It's not really a full orchestra. It's just a couple things, but still, I don't know. It's still not that easy. But all I did this time was added in a few like kind of I don't know, just like tasteful notes. Um, and then I also did the same thing I did with the saxophone. I just grabbed the EQ and cut out I think around the 100 range, if not a little higher actually, because there was no low frequencies or like no low notes being played on the piano, so I might have done it a little lower. And then I just boosted everything else because it was quiet as hell. So yeah. Next up, we added some horns and just gave everything an extra layer. Alright, so next up, I just kind of went on a spree of adding a couple things. So I added a piano, like another piano, and I had it panned over to the right, I think, just to separate it. And all it was doing was playing some lower notes instead of the higher notes. I just kind of wanted to have it far enough away from the cello and bass that it wasn't as muddy. And then I think I still might have given it a little bit of a cut, just to make sure that it wasn't like completely impeding on the bass. Yeah, so I added that. I added towards the second half of the pattern, I added another voice on the horns, just to harmonize a little bit. I added a drum pattern, and I added some woodwinds. Here is everything together. Okay, so I had nearly everything I wanted in terms of layers. I added one more, I believe, soon, but for now I was content. So I moved on to building up the song. So as per usual, I built up the song through layering. Started off with showing the sax off. But later I ended up starting the track with the saxophone and the bass, but that's in the future, so we don't talk about that right now. After introducing the sax, I introduced the bass and the cello. Next it was the piano. And then I slowly started introducing the drums. I started with just a hat, a ride, and a quiet snare. On the second half of those 8 bars, I added in the horns. On top of a reverse cymbal and a airy crash type thing, I also added in the full drum pattern. And then again, in the second half of those like 8 bars, I introduced the woodwinds. And then on the next 8 bars after that was everything together. So after all that, I created a copy of the sax, and then I pitched it down. So I just layered it with the main one. For like the 8 bars after everything being together as well, or sorry for the during the 8 bars with everything together. My bad. I'm not gonna show anything yet, because it's just kind of like the building process and how I was like kind of going through things. I will probably just be showing the finished product once we get there. Okay, so here I added one last layer, which was an electric piano. This is another instrument that I absolutely love with this type of song. It just gives it like a jazzy, warm vibe, and it blends together with everything really well. It doesn't take up too much room. It's just another really nice instrument combo with the saxophone and with woodwinds and all that stuff. So I introduced it 4 bars after the piano comes in. I had it introduced with the normal piano at first, but I wanted to give the acoustic its time to shine in the first 4 bars, and then I introduced the piano as a little like extra layer. So next up, I grabbed another sample. It's like a glitchy ambient sax pad type thing, and I used that for an extra layer. I grabbed a filter on the saxophone and the double bass, both low pass filters. I used the one on the double bass to have it play with the sax at the start. This is where I like put them both together at the start, and I just wanted to have it sound a little less harsh at first, and then give it more movement when I like slowly introduce the low ends of it. or sorry, introduce the high ends of it. And then kind of same thing with the saxophone, but backwards. I had it fully on blast at the start because that's the lead, and I wanted to have it kind of do its thing at the start of the song, and then I blended it into the background around bar 17, giving more room to other instruments that I wanted to shine and giving it this nice like soothing breakdown. I then slowly built the sax back up with the filter as the cymbals and snares come in, and then finally I put everything together for the ending. So yeah, on top of the cymbals and such, that is about it. So we are gonna play everything together here. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy the song. I haven't really gotten around to actually posting any of the songs yet. That not only the ones I've made on the channel, but even just ones that I made like off YouTube. So I'm probably gonna go get around to doing that after I post this video. But yeah, I'll probably throw it onto YouTube, SoundCloud, and then I should get around to making a Spotify too. So I'll probably do that as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the song. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you soon. Later.